Hi loves! So today I'm going to be showing you how I got these Pika Blue braids, and if you're interested in booking me, I am located in Virginia. Hey love, I hope you all are doing well. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I got these Pika Blue braids, and I'm mainly going to be focusing on how to color tuck and how to make your braids look really nice when there's a color difference. I'm going to be taking you through the process step by step, so please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for supporting this channel, and let's get right into it. So if you haven't watched my traditional box braid video, I would recommend doing that if you don't already know how to attach hair and like box braid and everything. But essentially what I do is I take a piece of hair, I split it into 3 sections, and then like I literally just like kind of place it on the head and I just like start braiding. So when you color tuck, essentially what you're doing is literally like putting the person's natural hair behind the blue braiding hair, or behind the braiding hair rather. I feel like tucking may seem more intimidating and more difficult than it actually is. Literally, if you just take your time and like make sure that the person's hair is tucked behind the braiding hair while you're braiding, then you're gonna have that tuck look. That's just an example of me like purposely tucking. I'm not gonna lie, when I was in the back of the head, I didn't intentionally tuck as much as I usually would, but you can't tell, especially like when I finished the top of her hair. So I will admit it's not all perfect, but you're here to learn how to tuck, so I'm going to show you how I do it a few times actually. The biggest tip that I can give you when you're starting to tuck is to take your time, because you can literally like see in the braid when you're messing up, or you'll be able to see when you're doing good. So I would say like the biggest thing is to definitely take your time and be super intentional with tucking the natural hair behind the braiding hair. Another thing to remember is that the smaller the braid is, or rather the less braiding hair that you put into the braid, it's going to make it a little bit difficult to tuck, especially depending on your client's density. So if they have super thick hair and you're doing like really small braids and then you only add a little bit of hair, you will have to be super intentional with making sure that you completely cover their natural hair with the braiding hair. Something that can make tucking a bit easier is using gel. As you can see in the corner here, I like to use Shine and Jam. Shine and Jam's like super popular, and it's really good for basically all hair types. So I definitely like to use that gel, especially if someone does have like really thick hair that is really difficult for me to like tuck. Then I'll definitely use some gel to help me like slide it and then easily slick the hair into the braid. I would say that this braid is a good example of what not to do and how you could potentially mess up when you're tucking. As you can see, I'm just moving super fast and I'm not really like intentionally making sure that her natural hair is behind the braiding hair, and I feel like that's why you're getting this like stripe effect. If you really slow down and take your time, then it's really not that hard to make sure you like tuck all the hair behind the braiding hair. I got a lot better towards the end of the braid, but that's because near the end of my client's hair, her hair was like thinning out, like thinner than it was at the roots, so it was less thick for me to try to tuck, so it was like slipping behind the braiding hair much easier. So for me to do her skunk stripe, I actually ended up doing 4 rows of blue braids out of the 9 rows that she got. So about almost half her head was in the blue braids, but she intentionally wanted me to make sure that they were pretty much like behind her ear and like 1 layer above her ear, so I ended up doing probably about 4 layers of braids in the color blue. And then she also did have like an accent piece like in the front towards the top, but I'll show you guys that once we get there. As I started getting further up on the head, I did make sure I was super intentional with making sure that I tucked the color, because these braids are much more visible than the ones on her nape. And as you guys just saw, I did like purposely place her natural hair behind the braiding hair before I even folded the piece over. And that's essentially all that you really have to do, like literally just taking your time, making sure that you tuck the hair, like you physically tuck the hair behind the braiding hair. So the way that I'm tucking in this video isn't the like 360 tuck. And what I mean by that is that like from every angle, you won't be able to just see like straight blue on the braids. So if she was to lift her hair up, you would be able to see like the stripes like you see at the bottom of some of the braids here. And the reason why I did it like that is because my client just didn't need the 360 tuck. She usually just wears her hair down, so this was sufficient enough for her. But if I did want to do the 360 tuck, where you see me just tucking the hair just strictly behind the braiding hair, I would essentially put it in the middle of the braid. I will actually do another video on that if you guys are interested in seeing like 360 tuck to where you won't be able to see any of the person's hair from any angle in the braid. But just for this video, we just did like a nice simple tuck just so like on the surface level you won't be able to see the black hair in between the blue. But if you're interested in another video for the 360 tuck, please leave a comment and let me know. Now I'm going to be showing you the process of me braiding the rest of her blue skunk stripe braids. So my client is a student. We actually go to the same university, and as you can see, she was dozing off like almost her whole appointment, and it just makes me so happy when I'm able to create the space to where my clients feel comfortable enough and they're like in like a pain-free environment to where they can go to sleep. I just wanted to like make a note about that because like I don't know, it just lets me know that I'm doing something right when people can rest in the care of me doing their hair. Make sure that you leave a like on this video to let me know that you enjoy this content. It keeps me motivated and it lets me know that I'm doing something right and I'm serving you well. And also please feel free to leave any comments that you have, any style suggestions or any type of tips that you may need, and I'll be more than happy to help. the gel holder on my wrist. When I first got it from the beauty supply store, it actually had like a silver cap over it. But what happened was the silver cap came off, but I noticed that there was like, it just made it kind of like a bowl situation, so I still decided to use it, even though this is technically broken. But if you're curious as to where I got this, this like wristband gel holder, I actually just got it from my local beauty supply store. So a correction from what I mentioned earlier, I did not do 9 rows on her head. I actually ended up doing 8. So yeah, it was evenly split between the blue braids and the black braids. Like I mentioned before, she wanted her skunk stripe behind her ear, but I did also do the detail piece, and I did them on it's like the second row from the top and towards like the temple area. That when I get to her edges, I don't braid all the way on her edges. It's because I want to minimize the strain and pull on my client's edges. And plus, like, I don't really need to do the braid all the way on her edges for her hair to look smooth and sleek for a long time, as long as she takes care of it properly and, you know, like puts on her bonnet and everything. But yes, if you notice that the braid is a bit far, it's because I don't like to strain my client's hair. So my client actually brought this hair herself. She got it from Amazon and the hair color is blue. I just wanted to make a note on how like gorgeous it is. It's almost like iridescent. It gives off like purple at some angles. It's a very gorgeous color and it complements her skin very well. But anyways, I know that I mentioned that I do the tucking to like essentially hide her natural hair color in between the blue braids. But it's also really relevant even on the braids that are close to her hair color. And the reason why I say that is because like when you tuck the hair, then she will get less frizzies over time. Like her hair will not frizz up as easily. Say if she were to get it wet or like go to the pool or anything, her hair would not stick out in the braid because it will be underneath the braiding hair. So it does help in the overall longevity and attractiveness of the braids over time. They just age very well when you tuck them. So even if you're not doing color, you can still tuck the her natural hair because it will just make the braids, his or her natural hair, because it will just make the braids last longer and look better for longer. that is pretty much all for this style. Overall, it took me about 4 hours, so even if you do take your time with tucking, you can still be done in a decent amount of time. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure that you subscribe and like and leave a comment letting me know what you're looking forward to. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.